Okay. All right, people, welcome all of you for this 2 days masterclass of SQL Server, wherein you'll be learning a lot of SQL concepts. And this is especially for the Women's Day. So we wish again every one woman out here a very happy Women's Day. Okay, people offline, you have the chocolates, you can go and collect the chocolates. And men, after that, you can also collect the chocolates. Okay. Don't go before that because they have a lot of patience. Yeah. Okay. Right. Jokes apart. So everyone will get the chocolates. You can go and collect. People online, I'm very sorry. I don't know how I can give chocolates. Next week, if you're coming, let me know. If you're not getting the chocolates, I will provide you the chocolates. Okay. Right. So coming to the topic. The topic is about the SQL. Where does this SQL stands in this IT? Let's say like this. Let's take a common term IT. When I say IT, that means information technology. When I say information technology, it's a very vast field. It can be of software development. It can be of data analytics. It can be anything related to computers, the technology, right? Last week, there was one webinar. So I was just speaking to someone. Someone asked, sir, I want to come to IT field. That was his intention. I'm joining your course so that I'll come to IT field. So now IT field means what? Most of them actually feel that IT field means it is the job in Infosys, Wipro. Okay, this is the mentality. Even I had the same kind of feeling. Say I want to go for IT field. That's all. But let's say someone gets a job in, let's say in AXA, or say Northern Trust, or say in any other company, say Amazon, Flipkart. Now, are these IT companies? They're not at all IT companies. Then I want to go to IT field. So people will think that, sir, I got job in Flipkart, but still I want to go to IT field. So people, let me tell you one thing, very, very simple terms. IT means it is about working on something that is on the computers, the laptops what we actually work, the softwares what we work, the applications what we work. Can be anything. IT can be even your networking. That also can be IT. What you work as analytics, that's also an IT. You work as software development, yes, that is also an IT. App development, that's also an IT. Whatever you work, okay, related to technology is IT. But if you're thinking about working in IT companies only, then you'll have to think about what knowledge I have to learn. Okay. In that, there are some common softwares which can be learned. You can go to IT field or analytics field or anything. But let me tell you one thing. If you are in data analytics, forget data science. Okay, data science. If you are in data analytics, business analytics, you can work in any field. You can work in any field. That's why most of the people nowadays you have seen, you open any Instagram, you open any Facebook, you open any YouTube channel and all, you'll get most of the ads on data analytics, data science. Yes or no? Have you ever seen anything on testing? There might be, I have never seen, but there might be, I don't know. Have you seen someone saying learn C, C++? Have you seen that? You can only see data analytics, data science. Now there is one more trend, Gen AI. AI. Recently, I had one interview. How many of you watched that interview completely? Watched completely. In the people online, if you're not seeing that, please go and check that. I've completely talked about the job. You get more than 40 lakhs package. How to get 40 lakhs package if you just attend one webinar, 9 rupees or 99 rupees webinar. How to get 40 lakhs package? Easily you will get. And there are some companies, KPMG, Google, all these companies will come running behind you to hire you. Yes. So you understood? Do you think any companies will run behind you when you go and attend some webinars? Or even if you attend my institute, you're paying what 55,000, 60,000, 70,000 fees you're paying. And do you think Google, KPMG and all will come running behind you? to hire you? Is it possible? It is not at all possible. Far away from, it is far away from, you cannot even in dream also, you can think that, okay, the companies will come and hire. If you take Google, they can generate robots like you. And those people are running behind you just because you attended one webinar. Yeah. So what I'm telling is, if you want to go to IT field, so all these are completely IT field, right? So first of all, you have to make your mind. You attend webinars. I'm not telling don't attend. You'll get a lot of ideas. Good, bad, ugly. Something you'll get. Yes, you get a chance, but don't pay and go. If it is free, go and attend. Let's see. Something you'll get some idea. Okay, you cannot say that nothing you'll get. If you won't get anything good, you might get something what you should not do. Yes or no? See, in one webinar, if you attend, you might get what should we do, or sometimes you'll also get information what I should not do. Right? So whenever you get time, attend any webinar or anything, but make sure that you take the right decision. Okay. All right. Now I was talking about the IT field. In that, there are some common softwares. In that, the SQL is also one. SQL, what I'm actually talking about, SQL, that is also one. Why? Because this SQL software, it is used to store the data. That means you go and take any applications, it has to store the data. Now I'm developing an app, right? App cannot be done by analytics. App is actually used for checking the analytics. I have the data. For that, I can do analytics. But to collect the data, what should I do? There should be an application, correct? So if you want to develop that application, you have to work on that. That is, you have to write some programs. That means that's a complete IT related, that is completely program related jobs. But where will you store the data? Again, SQL will come. The database. So that is very important. So SQL, why I took this topic about IT is, see, when I take Excel, I learn Excel. Will I get job in IT field? That's also an IT field only, right? Right? But you might not get the job as a programmer, but you will get a job as an analyst. Now, if you ask me, sir, I want to go to data analytics or shall I go to the complete programming? It is left to you. People, I'll tell you, don't get confused. You go to any field in IT, you have a good salary. Any field in IT, you have a good salary, provided you should get a job. Now you should think, how will I get a job? First of all, first thing, think about your education. What is my qualification? What is my skills, what I've developed? The college, or say, my degree. Then you have to think about what, knowledge I have gained, what skills I'm actually learning. Now people will say, sir, I have paid for college also. Again, I have to learn some more skills. That you should not ask here in the institute. That where you should ask them. You should ask in your college. Some people coming here, sir, I've already learned all this in my college, sir. Why should I again learn this? You people are making money. This is the question. See, let me be very frank. I have opened this institute so that people who need will come here. I'm not calling anyone saying that you please come, you please come. Right? So what I'm trying to tell you people is develop skills, which is not there. If you already learned in college, again, why are you actually learning? Don't learn. Don't waste your money. Don't waste your time. Directly go to job. If you don't have skills, then only think about joining any institute. Until then, please do not join. Not here or anywhere. Okay, you might think why this fellow is telling you might lose the business. I'm not telling, see, I'm not calling anyone here just to make business. I want to give a right path. Now, if you think that yes, I have the knowledge, whether I was in a college, I was in a job, I have complete knowledge on this, I'll directly go to job. Yes, you please go. Don't again learn the same thing. But if you don't have the skills, you will not get the job. I'll tell you. You might think, sir, my friend, he gave 3 lakh rupees. Now he's getting the salary of, say, 1 lakh per month. Say 15 lakhs package he got, sir. How many months he can stay there? Right? So skills will rescue you. Skills will actually secure you. But these kind of jobs, when you go, if you already have someone there inside who can protect you, it's fine. If not, out of 1,000, 1 or 2 can survive. Okay. So please make sure that whatever skills you're developing, that will actually give you a secured job. So for that, there are few secured, jobs. That is most commonly is business analytics and data analytics. Even data science also, you have to learn more some programming and all. You have to think about certain companies only. But data analytics and business analytics or MIS reporting, you can find in each and every companies. Almost 95% companies will have a team for analytics. You take banking, yes, we should have. You take insurance, we should have. You get distracted. Okay. So banking, insurance. Huh? That's the recording. Okay, banking, insurance, you name any field, any domain, you will have this analytics and business analytics and especially MIS reporting. So in that, this SQL will come. Okay. Now, I told so many things, out of the topic, but still it is something related to topic. Let me open a notepad. Okay. Usually, I don't come with some presentations. Whenever I get some time, then only I'll prepare. But frankly, I was not in a situation to prepare any presentation, but all the slides, the contents in the slides is there in my head. So I'll be keep telling you so that you people can understand. Imagine, okay, just try to have some imagination, say what I'm actually trying to tell you. Okay, but still, I'll try to type here so that you people can understand. SQL. Okay, this is very, very important for everyone to know. When I say SQL, people will say, this is very easy. I can easily learn. Some people will say, sir, it is very difficult. I am seriously, not even 1% I know about it. Whenever you learn and whenever you start learning for something, say, especially for your career, make sure that you learn that from the scratch. Forget the options what you learn. Forget practicing it. But first understand what it is. Okay. Let me ask you a question, all of you. I'm planning to go to Mysore. And I'll say you plan anything. I'll ask you, how will you go? So what will you first think about? Huh? Okay. Means of transport. Okay. People online, you can also unmute if possible. Let me just check if I can unmute. People, you can also answer. My question is, I am planning to go to Mysore now. Now, what's your plan? How will you plan?
Expenses there.
Expenses, very good. See, expenses, fine. Okay. Then you told something. Budgets, expense. Okay. You told transportation. Anything else? Huh? Accommodation. Okay. Then which route? Okay, that's also fine. Okay. Then people. It's a general question. Forget about. Don't think that in a technical way. Anything else? People online? I think someone messaging. Let me just check. Sorry. Okay, transport mode, time. Okay. Everything is important. But you people forgot one thing. What is it? How many of them are going? You plan the transport after knowing how many people are going, right? You plan the budget on how many people are going, right? Route, fine. That we can actually plan, how many ever you go, the same route. Yes, sir. Now I'll say transport, I'll go by bike. 10 people are coming. What will you do? Your planning is gone. I'll book a 21-seater bus. Only 2 people are coming. Then budget plan is completely gone. So what is necessary? Planning. First is planning. When I start planning, the first thing what I'll do is, okay, first the destination already I've given. That's the project. Mysore, done. How many of you are coming? The beginning, everyone say, I am coming, I am coming. After that, when the day comes, only 2 or 3 will be there, right? Yeah. It's a fact. You can't help it. Every group, it will be like that. So why I took this example is, see, whenever you plan a project also, you should also plan everything. Okay. Say, how big is the project? How many resources has to be added in that? What are the softwares has to be added? So here what happens? Not everyone will be expert in SQL. Not everyone will be expert in Excel. But now company expects everything. So now coming to this part, the SQL, it is a part of your project. Let's say I'm working on some say dashboard where I need to show some reports of region, say state, or something hierarchical reports like this, and what are the products sold in each state. So many things are there. Now, from where will that reports, if you want to generate reports, where will the data come? There should be somewhere the data to be stored. The data should be stored somewhere. Now, is it stored in SQL? No. Again, people will think, sir, I'll store the data in SQL, sir. No, you cannot store the data in SQL. No, what is SQL? SQL is just a language. That's all. SQL is just a language. So what is language? Language is I'm communicating with you. I always tell one thing. Say, if you want to communicate with you, let's say, for example, which language I'm speaking? English. I could have spoken in Kannada only, right? Why did I not speak in Kannada? Because in this class, there are some, say, 17 people online. There are some 12 people, in the offline class. Not everyone will know that particular language. Just because I love Kannada, it doesn't mean that I should speak everywhere in Kannada. There are some places I have to speak in different language where the people will understand. Right? Now, in this class itself, let's say some people know Hindi, some people know Telugu, Tamil, various different languages. Now, if you want to communicate with everyone, there should be one common language, correct? That is English, obviously. So I'm speaking in English so that everyone will understand. Similarly, in computer also, you have so many various different languages. Some people will say, sir, we have so many languages. Say, if I speak in Tamil, they'll understand. Sir. If I speak in Telugu, they'll understand. Sir. In Kannada, they'll understand. Sir. They will understand. But will they understand properly? There are some words which might actually take in a different way also, right? Similarly, computer language has got its own, way of speaking. Say C, C++. Can I use that for fetching the data from database? No, it has got its own, speciality. Right? I said Java and a PHP, HTML, all this, they are actually used for web development. Can I write some queries and put the data? No. If you want to work on database, then I should have a different language. That is SQL. So keep in mind, people, if you think that, yes, I'm learning SQL, SQL is nothing but it is structured query language. Everyone knows that. Say, structured query language. See, language. Now, understand this structured query language. Now, just break it. Structured query language. Now, when I say language, it is nothing but the way we communicate. With whom are we communicating? We are communicating with a database. What is database? I'll tell you later. I'm communicating with a database. That's called as query. Query means what? Question, correct? I am applying a question. Whom am I asking? I'm asking to the database. What am I asking? I'm asking, please give me the data. Please update the data. I don't want some data. Please delete it. If I tell like that to database, I'll stand in front of database. On the server, there is a server. I'll say, hey, server, please delete this data. Can I do that? No, I cannot. Why? Because there is a way I have to speak to that, right? When I speak to that, there are some commands. And that has to be structured in proper way so that the database will understand what I am speaking to it. So it's called a structured query language. That means there are some proper way where I go, I speak to the database, and then I say, yes, this is what I'm trying to do. Whether I can fetch the data, I can delete the data, or I want to update the data or insert the data. I'll give it in a proper structured way wherein the database will understand. Understood all of you? So SQL is nothing but it is a language which I speak to the database to do some operations. Let's take it as do some operations. It can be any operations. It can be fetching the data, it can be deleting, inserting, or it can be updating, or it can be creating some new structure itself. Correct? So this is what is SQL. Now, coming to the database. Most of the people think that, okay, I have a data, I can dump that in the system. You cannot do like that. Even when you're saving your files also, there is a proper structure. If you open your laptop or desktop, I try to create one. Let's say you're preparing your profile, say your resume. While saving it, you go and open one drive, correct? Somewhere you open one drive. Will you say that, okay, I'll just like that save? You cannot. There is a file management system where I'll go, I'll try to create one folder. Don't you think that I'll name that? Say, for example, your house only. You are your brother is there, a sister is there, or your friends, they're using that laptop, or you are trying to save their data also. Don't you create one XYZ resume? Or say people will create your own folders. Yes or no? Why? Because it will become easy for us to understand and say, go to that particular folder and fetch the profile or photos or music, whatever. Let's take one more thing. Say I'm trying to save some music. I love music. I try to save the music. There are some 1,000 songs. If you dump everything in one folder with all the name as song 1, song 2, song 3, up to song 1,000. Now you want to listen to your favorite song. There will be some favorite songs, right? Every time when you go and keep on listening, or say sometimes your mood will change, you have to go and search for some song. If it is song 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 1,000, you think it is easy for you to go and search for a particular song? What will we do? Keep on opening that file. Ah, check. We'll open, again close, open, close. We do that on. I have done that. When I was actually, I didn't know that time. I was just dumping on because it was like craze, collecting all the songs, dumping it. Then later on, I understood that if I keep dumping like this, it will be like a dump yard. We'll not able to fetch the data, fetch the song what I need. Then what I did, I started segregating it. It can be based on the singers or the movies or the favorite moods or whatever, we can just segregate it. So likewise, data also has to be saved in such a way that it is easy for me to understand. First, it is easy for me to understand, easy for me to work on it. Okay. So data always, I always tell that data is very, very important. Now tell me, why is data important? Okay. Now people, most of them actually feel that a database is from very recently. That is once the computer came, finished, the database came. Before that, no database. You think previously database was there or not? You go to, in the king's period, before that also, database was there. Yes or no? But the means were different. Yes. Now tell me, how can you tell that the database was there even previously also? Books, very good. People used to write on stones. They used to store that. People used to write on leaves. They used to store that. Even now we have that. Have you understood what is database? Database is nothing but a means of storing the data in a proper order. That's all. Simple. You don't have to give very big definitions. You go to interview. In interviews, no interviewer, keep in mind, will ask you to tell the definition. Understood? He will ask what is a database? Database means it is, don't start like that. You're professionals, or even if you're a fresher, you have to go and answer in a proper way. If you answer like that, you'll come to know this guy is a fellow who by hearts and come. Never do that. Understand the concept. Answer in your own way. Finish. But I've seen, I go for interviews, right? Easily I come to know whether he is Really knowing that, or you just okay. So what I'm telling is just answer with a very simple way. What is database? Database is nothing but it's a means or a container where we store the data in a proper order. Finish over. That's all. Later on, let him ask, 1,000 questions and we can answer. People, I tell you, passing interview is very easy. It's very easy. After passing only is the problem. Because you have to work. Correct? Okay. So what I was telling is database is nothing but I'm storing the data in a proper manner so that it is easy for me to fetch the data. Then what is data? Storing data. Keep on telling about data. I'm storing in SQL, database. I'm storing. But what is data? Huh? Simple. Data is nothing but the information what I store, which is very important for me. I can use it for my future use. That's all. Anything. We can store the data. Why? Because I don't know. Previously, I don't have most of my childhood photos, but now we store all the photos, right? All the childhood photos, or we take some memories and all. We store it. Tell me, how many of you have that habit of storing all the photos? Most of them will have. Okay. Why do we do that? After 10 years, you just go back and see that photos. You feel, oh, this is the way I was. Oh, this is the way he was. It's a fun. And still, you feel it very important. Yes or no? I'm just giving an example how important for your personal use. Similarly, the data for a company is also important. The data is nothing but the information. It can be any kind of information. I'm telling any kind of information. Say, people, if you go to any company, you will get the data of 50 years back also. They'll store it and keep it because they don't know when what will happen. Even now, if I go to my company, okay, which I've left, say 10 years back, 12 years back, they'll get the data. They'll easily get the data. Why? There might be something, say, for example, my PF is not, I'm not got the PF. I can go to the company and say, see, this is my number. Fetch the data. They'll give. Why? It is necessary. It is compulsory. It is very important. Even for the company as well as for others as well, right? So data is nothing but the information what we store. And information doesn't mean that just like that I'll dump. The data is information which I have to store something called as database. So what is database? It is nothing but container to store the data in a proper order, proper manner, whatever you call. You got an idea what is database? Now, when I was talking about database, most of the people they say, I usually go for some seminars or webinars, or if you go to corporate companies and all, they'll think that database means SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle. They'll start speaking about all big softwares. They'll forget there are very simple things also where we can store the data. Okay. When I say database, the proper order, but people, let me tell you, there's a lot of difference between data source and database. Okay. Now let's talk about data source, and then I'll come to database. So what is the difference between a database and data source? Okay. Database is meant for storing the data in a proper order, and it has got its own properties, methods where we can fetch the data, where we can apply some languages on that and then work on it. But data source means, right? Source from where you'll say, some information you'll get. Your friends are actually speaking something and you're speaking about one more third person, right? They'll ask, how did you get this? Where is the source? Yes or no? Hey, is it true or false? Tell me. How did you get the source? You will not tell the source. Yes, I know that, but I'll not tell the source. Source means from where. Similarly, data source means from where I'm actually getting the data. There are so many data sources from where we can get the data. So database is also a part of data source. Understood? Database is also a part of data source. Data source means from where we get the data. Okay. Now the data source can be txt file. You know what is text file? You know what is text file? What is that? The notepad, what I'm writing now, that's also a source. From here also we can get the data. Okay. I actually want to take one class for people about the notepad itself. Why? Because notepad has got a lot of things. We can store the data. We can store that such a way that we can take that into Excel or SQL or nowadays Power Queries, Power Pivots, so many things we can do. You know that we can store the data in a format where we can have the delimiters. You know what is delimiters? Delimiter means a character which will separate your say data. Okay. So we can store the data in text file, but there is a different way to store. We have, because in text file we don't have comma. So sorry, we don't have columns. We don't have the records, rows, columns, nothing. But if we want to store the data, what we should do? Store it in comma separator for different columns. Enter mark for next line. Okay. So this is how actually we can store the data, but there are more other things to work in text file. So I'm planning to include that also in our data cleaning classes, because when I was actually trying to make people understand, there are something missing. These simple things. We think that the things like notepad and something like that. We feel that okay, these people know and we'll start teaching. But when we start explaining them, they might feel that something missing, some small things missing. So I was just trying to figure out all these things when I was teaching one of the classes. So I thought I'll include these things as well. So shortly I'll be introducing that also. And we can have, so people who have not registered also, don't worry. Some community classes will be happening. I'll be talking about that in that classes as well. The next CSV. How many of you know CSV? CSV. CSV means people online, you can message if you know what is CSV. What is CSV? Comma separated values. Okay. Let's see if people are answering. Okay. People online, you can also answer. Okay. Don't sit idle because I'll not know whether you're awake or not. Yep. CSV, comma separated values. This looks very similar to Excel file, but it is not an Excel file. People keep in mind, text file and CSV file are very dangerous. If you're not working properly, you will lose the data. Very dangerous. Why? CSV file looks like Excel file. Most of the people, even I have done this mistake. After doing so many mistakes, only I'm telling don't do that mistake. Okay, once what happened, I did one mistake. I told someone, see, this is what happens, don't do this. He's telling, you only are doing mistake and you're telling me. I told, okay, go and do. What is that? If you're not correcting from my mistake, that is your mistake. Okay, so you should be very careful about it, because CSV file especially, what happens, you can create multiple sheets. But while saving, whichever sheet you are active, only that sheet will be saved. Okay, otherwise all the sheets will be deleted. So please be very careful. CSV is not an Excel file. It is just like a normal text file only, but it will open in a format of Excel file. Please be very careful about it. Okay, right. CSV. Then after that we have Excel. One application which I love the most, Excel. If you ask me which is your favorite application, I'll always say Excel. Why? Because first thing is, that is the one which gave me the life, the career in my, the entire life, whatever I've worked, it's because of Excel. Excel saved me from day one till today. It is saving me. Even after I open my institute also, Excel is saving me, and it is the one application which is giving more revenue. Not only for me, even for Microsoft also. Go and check. Microsoft is surviving because of one application, Excel. But now you have Power BI, you have so many things. I'm not telling that only this. Let me correct my statement. Most of the revenue is coming from Excel for Microsoft, because That is one application can do a lot of things. You can create presentation. You can have that as a database. You can create your documentation. You can take that as a database, calculations, reports, analytics, programming. What all we can do. One of them. Okay, so that is my favorite application always. And the people have learned Excel. Not now, long back, they are earning more than 50 lakhs package now. But they have to improve themselves with other applications. Okay. So after this, we have now PDF. We can get the data from PDF. Okay. Then we have web pages. Then come so many other things. So many now data sources are there. After this, the database comes. Databases. Database is also part of data source where we can source the data from these databases. So to name few of them, SQL Server. I'll always take this as first preference because this is very much easy to learn, easy to connect as well to all our Power BI, Excel or whatever. Then comes MS Access. Then comes MySQL. Then we have Oracle. Only these. There are so many hundreds of databases. I don't want to name everything. There are so many like this. We just observe SQL Server. It is an application. Keep in mind, it's an application. MS Access is also an application. MySQL is also an application. Oracle is also an application. And this is an application. And what is the difference? The only difference what we can say is they are all from different companies. Okay, but otherwise, all these uses one common language. Out of the say 35-40 people sitting here in the same class, you think everyone have got the same model, same mobile, same software? Each one of you have got different versions, different models, different company mobiles. But in that mobile, you will have Android, iOS, correct? Microsoft operating system. So the mobiles can be anything, but the operating system remains same. Right? Let's say I have Android, I have iOS, I have Microsoft. Similarly here, SQL Server, MS Access. Let the database be anything, but the language is same. Now you'll ask, then if I learn one language, is it okay that I can work on all the other database as well? Obviously you can learn. I'm using Android phone. Suddenly you go to Microsoft mobiles, can't you operate it easily? Suddenly you take iOS, can't you operate it? But there are some changes, right? Not all of them are similar. There are slight changes. That is what will happen here also in software to software. That means I have the SQL Server and MS Access. SQL Server is server. Server means that the data can be somewhere else and I can connect and I can get them. I'll tell you how to install, what are different types that we'll discuss tomorrow. But I just want to make you people understand about the database. Okay. Now, if you see here, we have this MS Access, which is nothing but the desktop application. What is desktop application? It is usually used for working in just one system. In my system, I'll install the database, work on small projects. You cannot put, you can actually put that in the server, but it will not work very similar to your SQL Server, MySQL and all. MySQL, Oracle, SQL Server, all these are actually servers. Okay, client and server. So what is client? the way, we sit and work on system, we are a client actually. Server is somewhere, the server is there. We connect and we fetch the data. That I'll tell you the complete architecture tomorrow. So today, let's not go deep into something technically. Tomorrow, I'll talk about all the SQL concepts, how actually you should get prepared for SQL, what all things which companies actually use this SQL. All this I'll discuss tomorrow. Today, we'll just discuss about only on the background of SQL. Okay. All right. Now we understood about SQL Server, MS Access, MySQL, Oracle, and things like that. So these are all some of the database. Understood what is data source, what is database. So if you understand these concepts, not only the database, not only the SQL, you can also understand how the data is actually coming from various different sources. Now, after this, I want to understand how this database is important in application development, data analytics, or it can be business analytics or any other tools. Okay. I told you data is very important. I also told you that we have to store the data. And I also talked about data source and database. Okay. Now, some people, let's say, not a very big company, a small company, they don't have much knowledge of SQL Server or say, they don't have the knowledge of database. Usually what they do, they store the data in Excel. Usually they store the data in Excel. Everyone knows. They're not storing CSV or text file because they're not so much technically strong. They only know about Excel. They'll start saving the data in Excel in their own way. I have, one of the audit office I keep going for, our companies, which I am speaking to them. They have their own Excel file. January, they'll have all the details. February, March, April. After December, they'll close that file. That's all one file. They'll name 2024. Then again, one more file. 2025. January, February, March, April up to December. Now, if they want to get the report, you know what they do? They'll start copying, paste, copying, paste. For them, Excel is very difficult to work. Why? Because no proper guidance. It's also database only. So when I went there, I'm talking about 8-9 years back. Okay, when I started my institute, say around 12 years back. So we started working with these clients, the audit office from last say 8-9 years. I was just checking something. Then I told, why are you saving data like this? Create one template. Store the data year by year, month on month, and everything. Have a backup every now and then. While creating the report, if you want 2024, go there, filter it, you'll get the data. Okay. Now I want 2024 January report. Go filter January, filter 2024 over. Create pivot table. Whichever year you want, whichever month you want, everything will get yes. So when I showed that, it is very simple. Same way what you're making different sheets, you take the same sheet, but put one new column, year and month over. Now from last 8 years, they're doing that. Now the reports are also automated. I only automated everything. Now the database, what they're using is Excel only. I didn't suggest them any other bigger software because they don't have that much of knowledge. And if they want to hire someone, no one will come with the salary what they are giving. Now, coming to this database, SQL and all, the small companies will not actually use. Why? Because if they think about SQL Server or say people who learn about SQL, they obviously ask salary, the salary above 30,000, 40,000. They'll not be able to offer. So now, why I took this topic about SQL, there are some companies who use this SQL. Small companies don't use this, especially these kind of auditing office and all. But otherwise, startups or bigger flourished companies or tier 1 companies, they all use SQL. But I cannot say that they'll be using SQL Server, MySQL, Oracle. It is depending on people to people, company to company. Now, if you think about, sir, now which SQL I should know? There is nothing called as which SQL. There is only one SQL. with multiple software. Okay, so what I was telling, SQL language is one, softwares are many. Devanamba Namahalam. Simple. People who don't understand, there is only one God with multiple names. Similarly, there is only one language for database, that is SQL. So we can use this SQL in various different softwares. Now, the people will ask one more question, sir, I'll do one thing and learn SQL Server. But tomorrow, what if I want to work on my SQL? Should I have to join the course again? If you have more money, you give to me, again you join. If you have more knowledge, if you have that kind of mentality that's no, I'll not pay this guy, you can only learn. How? Let me tell you. Language is the same in all the softwares. Okay. There might be slight changes. I gave an example of Android, Microsoft, and iOS. People who work on iOS easily they can work on Android. Android people can easily work on iOS. But only thing is, slight changes will be there. Slight changes will be there. The way what we use it. So 1 or 2 days, if you sit and keep exploring, don't you feel like we can work on even from Android to iOS, iOS to Android, everything? Can't we work? How we can work? A matter of 1 day or 2 days. Easily you can explore. Similarly, you take any software, any SQL software application is very easy for anyone to learn one language, one software, and similar for all the other languages. Okay, so again, don't waste money. I first learned Oracle. When I learned, it was Oracle 9. Now I don't know which version it is because I have totally forgot. I learned Oracle 9, but I didn't work on any project. There was one institute called as SQL Star. I'm not sure whether now they are there. I'm talking about when 2005, 6, 2006, I guess. SQL Star. So I learned Oracle there. After that, I got a project on MS Access. Not even one project I worked on Oracle. It just like you people who have joined the institute, I joined one institute. I learned SQL by Oracle. Then I got a project in MS Access where I was working in a company because that was a BBA project. Now, I just got scared, like how you people will get scared, right? Suddenly, if you use some project, you say, oh, can I do it or not? I was scared. I don't know MS Access, but I know SQL. When I got the project, 2 days I was just sitting and just exploring it. It was easier than Oracle. Same thing, everything is same. And the best part is you don't have to write the codes at all. Just drag and drop, that will only create all the SQL codes. Okay, so that is how actually I started working on MS Access. Then immediately I changed the company. I went to one more company. There they had a product for SQL Server. From there on, I started using SQL Server and my say MS Access. Then one product was there for MySQL. Then I understood that you go to any companies, they have their own servers. Okay, so we don't have to bother. Only thing is if you know the language, if you have some talent, if you have the skills, if you have the understanding of database, any softwares we use, easily you can. But people, I'll tell you, this SQL is used in almost all the companies. That is, I'm talking about the bigger companies. Smaller companies, I don't know. They use these SQL. Don't worry. Just learn SQL language, which I'll be teaching you about. We will work on SQL Server so that this covers desktop as well as server version. So both will learn. And then if you think that it is very easy, we can start learning about MySQL. That also I'll guide you. MS Access, anyways, you have the software. Oracle, I don't have, but I don't know whether it's freely available. But that's again very easy. Easy to learn, easy to master also. Okay. All right. So next class. So in the next class, I'll talk about we have SQL. In this, we have different languages. Talk about this. There are so many different languages. So tomorrow I'll talk only about SQL. But today, what I was just trying to make you people where all it is actually used, how actually we can understand which companies are using this, what are the importance of SQL. That's all we just discussed. And then we'll try to understand about installation. Because of this word spell check, and I totally forgot the spellings. Finding it very difficult to type the spellings. Okay, we'll talk about installation. Then we'll talk about the commands. Okay. Then we also talk about, say, how to create tables. Also, we'll say objects. Okay. Then we'll talk about something on stored procedures. Okay. Also, we'll talk about how, various apps connect to test. Okay. So likewise, there are still more topics. We'll discuss this tomorrow. Complete technically, overall, complete whatever SQL is there. I will teach you and I'll just discuss with you so that you'll get an idea about SQL. Okay. The people who have registered already, don't worry, we'll have in-depth of classes to go on with along with this classes only. So tomorrow also we'll have SQL. Tomorrow completely SQL, nothing else. Okay. All right. So I'll stop here. Then we'll meet tomorrow at the same time. But before we close the meeting, let me ask people online if they have any questions, anything I'm missing, that we can include that in the next session. And I'll come back to you people and we'll have a discussion. Okay. All right, people online, you can unmute, and if you have any questions, you can please ask me. I will answer. Quickly, if you have any questions, please let me know. I will answer. No, Python and SQL is totally different. It's not same. Rahul Nayak, Python is completely a programming language. SQL is a database language. Okay, so it's not same. Technical knowledge for SQL, nothing. You don't need to have technical knowledge to learn. So after learning, you'll get the technical knowledge. It is very easy. Okay. Can write SQL query in Power BI? Yes, obviously. I will show you tomorrow if you want. We can write SQL query. We can write in Power BI. I'll show you. I'll show this topic. I'll just take this. I'll show you tomorrow how we can do this. That's what I was telling. Say here, I've already given, right? Already given, but still specifically, I'll just take this also. The topic is there. I'll just take. Right, people. So once again, happy Women's Day to all the women. I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Okay. But overall, I'll just give you 1 minute. Let me know how was the session so we can close the session. Meanwhile, I'll speak to the people offline. Okay. Just 1 minute to take and tell me how was the session. Then we'll close the session. Happy weekend, people. Thank you so much. Right. Right, people. Thanks, Rahul, Rachita, Karthik. Right, people. Thank you so much. I'll catch you guys next week. Bye. Don't worry, this recording will be given to all of you. Okay, this recordings will be given. Okay, people who have missed, recordings will be given. Don't worry. It will be available in the community channel. Okay, take care all of you. Bye-bye.